I am not passing judgment on anybody that, because I've heard it and I've seen it. Somebody saying, oh, she's going to work, and that person has somebody in the house that has COVID, and part of you is just like, oh my gosh, but I also understand that I'm coming from a place of privilege, right? A lot of people are hungry. A lot of people are super behind on their rent, and if they have to choose between wearing a mask and hiding their symptoms and feeding their family, I cannot fault you for having to make that decision.
There's not an ability to make ends meet if you can't go to work and what have you. And then realizing that predisposing conditions like asthma, hypertension, diabetes, and down the line, chronic medical conditions make it more likely for you to have a worse outcome should you get COVID. This has been just a tremendous hit on our communities.
In the communities where I'm working and I serve, I'm seeing a number of individuals who are working in frontline essential jobs, whether it be in the food industry, in the services industry, hospital, custodial staff industry, transportation, where they don't have the luxury of being able to work from home or work by Zoom. They are on the front lines doing the work that they need to do to earn a living, but also the work that's essential for cities and communities to function. And as a result, they're at risk.
Certain times we have to be part of, for example, carpooling or public transportation. Make sure that when you're in those environments you wear a mask, and of course that you have hand sanitizer with you. And if you can avoid it, of course, try to avoid it. But if there is no other option around, wear a mask, use hand sanitizer.
For clients who actually we have experienced who are getting COVID from work, we've seen a couple of those. And the interesting thing is we try to communicate with the places of work. They are afraid of being sued that this client caught COVID from work, and we have to tell them it's not about that. Well, no, they're not firing them, they're letting them kind of come back, except that they have to isolate for those 2 weeks and be able to go back and test again, and until after testing and they're told that they're now negative before they can get back to work.
And what we found is that many times just by introducing the question, it then allows them to make a decision and say, oh, well, I didn't realize that my employee could come back to work without a negative test result. But when you think about it, we don't require people to come back to work after pneumonia with a confirmed chest x-ray. We don't require people to have a confirmed negative mono test or a strep throat test after they've been tested positive, nor do we require it for influenza. As we're seeing more and more people testing positive and going through their period of isolation and coming out and being cleared to return to work, they're still not being allowed to return to work without a confirmed negative test. And there is currently no guideline within the CDC, within the World Health Organization, or with any local or state public health entity that requires a negative test after testing positive as evidence of clearance to return to work or school.